What's going on, guys? Derek from Legendary here, and today I want to talk about a project that is probably the one I'm the most excited about. I spend a ton of time in this community, super active, engaged community, and I think this could potentially be one of the greatest projects in the NFT space to date, and maybe a leader going forward as we dive deeper into what it means to actually own NFTs and see NFTs with utility behind them. So if you're new to the channel, I want you to go ahead and subscribe and smash that bell so you don't miss any future videos. With that being said, let's take a look at VeVe. So VeVe is a digital collectibles app, and they have some of the biggest brands already. They've been working on this project for years. And I just got into it on the Kang comic drop. So for those in the VeVe community, you might know when that is. I'm pretty recent into the space, actually. A lot of the OGs found this back in March at the very early stages when they were just rolling the app out, and they were getting some of the most highly coveted collectibles from the actual store for the store price and stuff like that. And since then, VeVe has run into some dramatic growth spurts. They're adding 20 to 30,000 users per day and things like that. But basically, this is what I think of as the premier NFT project, and I'm going to dive into why. So first of all, they have amazing brands, right? You can see here, these are some of my comics, which is pretty amazing. They have comics and collectibles. One big thing about VeVe is you can drop all of these collectibles, all of these comics into augmented reality, and I'll show you that later. But basically, you can preview them and take pictures of them in the real world. And they're also building something called the VeVeVerse. You can see this was one of their latest drops, Voltron. You can see a season 1 video here. If you go to veve.me, you can find this app on the App Store, Google Play Store. But what everybody is really excited about is the VeVeVerse. Right now, they have virtual showrooms. They just updated this to version 2.0. So it got a makeover. Looks incredible. They've updated some of the utility on the comics. You can now read them on a flat surface and also tilt them upwards to make it easier to read. And I'm sure more and more updates will come out to keep improving things. Like I said, you can drop all these collectibles into AR. And eventually, what's going to be coming is the VeVeVerse. So metaverse is kind of a big buzzword right now that's being used a lot. Facebook changed their name to Meta. Right, so that's where things are going. It's going to be Web 3.0. The new social media will probably be some type of metaverse where you can hang out with people, chat, kind of like the Twitter Spaces, the Clubhouse, the audio rooms will go to a augmented reality or virtual reality setting. So that's what I think of as a metaverse. It's just a new way to interact with people from across the world. In 2022, hopefully they'll be rolling out the first iteration of the metaverse. And we'll be able to have our collectibles inside the metaverse. So we can hang out, go to each other's showrooms, or it might be a house. They've talked about having land. So if you're early and you get some good property in the VeVeVerse, I think that could be very valuable as well. But just the overall idea is a new generation of collectors and a new community has formed based around VeVe and all these licenses they have. So if we go up to the brands section, you can see some of these powerful brands here. They started season 1 up at the top, Batman, black and white. So the most coveted season, probably, of collectibles is this first one, Todd McFarlane, Batman. The Reso are two very, very sought after and highly coveted collectibles. But you can keep scrolling here. They partnered with Marvel, Cartoon Network. Ron English has a few drops on here, serial killers, and some other things. The United States Post Office dropped a stamp set, so that's huge, and I'll talk about that later, why that's important. So they also have DC and Marvel, which that's kind of rare. Those are like competitors, right? You usually don't see them on the same platform, so I think that's big in itself. They're also deep into the art community, doing ground level stuff. They were at DCon, spread like wildfire. All the art pieces that dropped during DCon week got snatched up quick. And the big one they just announced was Disney, of course. So the golden moments, first appearance of Elsa, first appearance of Bart and Homer, first appearance of Iron Man. Just epic drops. You got Wall-E. What else was there? The Walt and Mickey statue, the partner statue. So epic drops. We got a lot of new users that week. They just dropped their first DreamWorks piece, which would be the Voltron. So more and more epic stuff keeps coming out, and they have hundreds and hundreds of licenses. They've been working on building this up for years. They said it took them 3 years to close Disney on this idea. And once you get Disney, you can get anybody, right? So there's a lot of speculation about what's coming next, but they've already done an incredible job of rolling these out. And they have everybody super excited, community super engaged, and ready to go. So usually twice a week they'll drop a comic. They've already dropped some of the biggest real world comics on this app that people can actually own the digital version of. So Amazing Spider-Man 3, that's a big one. They have Fantastic Four #5, first appearance of Doctor Doom. So that's like a grail piece, right? They got Amazing Spider-Man 14, first appearance of Green Goblin. We can see some here. And they drop these usually at 8 a.m. Pacific time. They said they might start staggering these, but if you're lucky enough to snag a drop, you usually can sell that for a multiple of whatever you paid. So they're usually $6.99. And for instance, the week I came, I got a Kang comic for $6.99. It was my first ever purchase, my first ever drop on VeVe. I sold it for $97 like within a few minutes. And since then it's went over 200. Sometimes it'll drop back down to 180. But that shows you the kind of returns you can make from an investment standpoint. Not investment advice at all, by the way. Do your own research. I'm just super into collectibles, and I think this is a cool way to also tie it with investing. But I wouldn't just get in here for trying to invest, right? You should also enjoy the space, enjoy the stuff. To me, I enjoy buying these collectibles and these comics more than I would to buy a stock and see that double. You know what I mean? It has a fun aspect to it. There's some utility. You can read the comics. You can drop these collectibles into augmented reality and stuff like that. So we got Ultimate Fallout 4. That's the first appearance of Miles Morales. So that's a newer comic, right? But it's also pretty valuable because it went nuts in the real world. So like that's a highly sought after comic for physical collectors. This is actually one of my favorite series, even though it's not the most valuable, but I love each panel of this series right here. So you can see it's the Carnage, they got the Venom, and a couple different variants here. Each comic has 5 variants, right? Usually the common is the physical equivalent. Sometimes they'll do a physical variant, and sometimes it's just VeVe exclusive. So that's something to pay attention to. If you are a comic book collector, you're going to have an advantage, right, coming in here because you know what's valuable, worth money in the real world, and what might be valuable in the NFT version. So ASM1, right, that's a super important, that's a grail comic right there, which you can get that for less than $100 right now. Marvel 1, Fantastic Four 1, those are both grails. So there's still a lot of important comics yet to come, but it's a great opportunity to snatch up some of these grails. Some of these go for over $100,000 for the physical copy, for 100, 200, even less. Right now, you can snatch some of those up. So that's the comics. They also have collectibles, right? So here's some of the Voltron. They've got first appearance of Wonder Woman just came out. They have some of Ron English's independent artists. So this is Storm, first appearance of an X-Men character. Some of these are really undervalued right now because people are sleeping on those. These are a lot of the Decon drops right here. So if you support independent artists, a lot of those came out right after Disney Week was Decon Week, right? So a lot of these dropped. Then you have the Disney Golden Moments. Oh, I forgot Star Wars, right? So C-3PO, R2-D2 during Disney Week. Yeah, just some epic drops here. So you got first appearance of Iron Man. You got the first Disney princess on here. The Simpsons. You got Marvel Mighties. So these are all the Eternals. There's the Post Office USPS stamp collection. When stamp collectors get on the app, these are going to go crazy. We've got some what if statues here. So this is a zombie Captain America, zombie hunter Spider-Man, alligator Loki. We have Harley Quinn. So you can keep scrolling down here, and these will go back kind of in the order of release, right? So this will go on for quite a while. But you get the idea. There's a lot of collectibles, the comics, and plenty more to come with some major brands. So to me, in the NFT space and in the metaverse, kind of who is first isn't as important as who has the IP and who has the community that actually want to engage with that metaverse. So that's why I think VeVe, even though they're taking their time a little bit on certain things, some of the community wish they would move a little faster sometimes. But having the responsibility for building a place in the metaverse for these iconic brands is going to move a little slower. And I'm okay with that because it gives us as collectors and investors time to start accumulating before the major rollout. So there's still a window right now, I think, for anyone who wants to dive in to do some research on VeVe. Check out the team. So I don't know if you're familiar with Al Khan, but he's pretty much the person responsible for bringing Pokemon to the US. He was involved early on in VeVe, and he's involved in their licensing and trying to land these major brands. So the team is super legit. They're collectors themselves. They know the space. They know the technology. They've built an addictive app that keeps people engaged with it. They've built community. They understand from a collector's standpoint why something should be scarce, as opposed to like a Top Shot, right, who came in. They didn't really understand their community. They started just releasing tons and tons of mints on some of those collectibles, and it just really watered down the whole space. So I think VeVe is doing things the right way so far. I love the team. They listen to the community all the time. They're in AMAs, asking questions, getting answers, implementing feedback from the community that we actually give them. So I'm fully bullish on this project. And another thing to understand about it is the way they've set up this system, they're able to attract the masses to it because there's two concurrent systems. When you purchase collectibles right now on the app, what you do is actually buy gems, and that's the in-app currency. And when you buy gems, it's a 1-to-1 ratio for USD. And basically, you can put $10 on the app, know nothing about crypto, go out and buy a digital collectible, and now you own that digital collectible. On the back end, concurrently, while that system's working, they have their OMI token. So OMI is another way you can invest in this project. If you're not into the collectible side of things, but you see the potential for VeVe, you can just buy OMI. And OMI, every time there's a transaction, is getting burned. So it's going from the reserve wallet to the burn wallet. And the tokenomics are kind of deflationary. So there's a set amount of OMI available. As stuff gets bought and sold on the secondary market, OMI is getting burned, reducing the supply, and increasing the value of the remaining tokens. I will say there is a little bit of a whale issue on the OMI token. There's a lot of concentrated OMI in just a few wallets, so that's something to be cognizant of. But if this gets as big as I think it's going to be, as a lot of people think it's going to be, that won't be an issue over time. We actually hope they, keep selling off at these lower prices while it's still super low. So there's a lot of research to do about this. I recommend jumping into the Twitter spaces. That's where I've been learning a lot. And if you just search for VeVe or OMI and see people with a red O in their name, you'll start to find out where you can get your information from. So let me pull up Twitter real quick just to show you mine. You can connect with me on Twitter. I'm at Legendary Leads. And if you see anyone with this red circle in their name, that's what we call an OMI homie. So once you learn about VeVe and learn about OMI, feel free to throw that in your name as well. Once you hit 1 million OMI tokens, you become an O millionaire. So I've also hit that mark and looking to accumulate more before some of these major announcements coming up. I don't want to bog you guys down too much in everything they have going on right now, but there are a few major things in the works. Basically, there's a IMX transition. They're going from the Go chain, where they were when they started, to Immutable X, which is based on the Ethereum network. So I don't want to get too technical, but that's going to bring a lot more people, give it a lot more visibility once they make that move, make more people comfortable with transacting with VeVe. They do have over 1 million monthly active users. So we hit that during Disney Week, and I want to say it's gone up to like 1.3 million now since then. Like I said, they're onboarding a ton of users every day, and they weren't thinking that they were going to grow this fast. So some of the projects they had planned kind of got put on the back burner a little bit. But I'm happy with that. I think the right move is to support your growing user base first, right? Get all the kinks worked out, make sure everything's ready to go, and then you can work on your projects a little bit. So all the licensors, all the brands will be happy because they know they're able to list into a community that's hungry and ready to buy those collectibles. And yeah, on Twitter, search for these hashtags, find some people to connect with. Right now, they're doing tons of giveaways on Twitter. We did something called VeVe Festivus. I gave away a copy of this comic book, the common version. Other people gave away anything from Disney Golden Moments to a whole comic book set. Someone gave away the whole stamp set. So some really valuable collectibles. I know there was over $20,000 in giveaways, all from the community. This was not anything VeVe orchestrated. This was community driven, and just people giving back to the community. So great community on Twitter. We'll probably end up in the VeVeVerse eventually once we get there, but Twitter Spaces is where we live right now. Jump in there, connect with us. Again, I'm at Legendary Leads. You can find me there. Let me look at my notes here and see if there's anything I didn't cover yet. So I just want to talk about reasons why people might want to get into VeVe and why they have such an advantage, I think, over a lot of these other projects. So there's, I'd say, 8 reasons people might want to dive into VeVe. 1, it's the fandom. There's something you're into on VeVe more than likely. And if not, it'll probably be there eventually, right? Like I'm really waiting for Dragon Ball Z. A lot of people are waiting for Pokemon. I'm going to be excited for Pokemon too. But for me, the first appearance of Vegeta, the first appearance of Goku, those are going to be like epic moments where I might drain out my retirement accounts just to get a piece of something like that. So fandom, people are already community oriented around those, right? So people who like Batman can already easily associate with people who like Batman. People who like Spider-Man can already easily associate themselves with people who like Spider-Man. So that's a big reason why VeVe is easy to build a community around, because it's bringing our favorite brands together. We can talk with other fans about those things and learn about each other in an easy environment, right? The next is the gamification. So they've launched a couple programs called the Master Collector Program, and there's an OMI utility program that kind of rewards you for collecting. So the app itself is very well built. It does have some issues, but they work those out pretty quick. But it just draws you in. Like, it's fun to be on the app. It's fun to go through the marketplace and look for deals. It's fun to wait for a drop and try to get it. It's just an easy app to get sucked into. And then with these programs on top of that, they reward you for holding. Like if you hold a certain collectible, you start accruing Master Collector points. Once you get so many points, you can grow your Master Collector level. So this is coming out very soon, and it's going to backdate all of your existing, what you would have got for points. You're going to get that all at one time, and you can spend those points to try to increase your chance to win future drops. So the gamification is going to be huge. Another one is nostalgia. So a lot of this stuff is from our childhood, right? Like these iconic brands, we grew up with them. It's bringing us back to a simpler time. Right now, there's a lot going on in the world, so it's nice to just think about those simpler times, right? It's easy to go back and think about when we come home after school, and for me, it was Dragon Ball Z. I turn it on, just zone out for a while. A lot of people, it was Batman or Spider-Man or Powerpuff Girls. Right now, Dragon Ball Z is not on the app, but I really, really hope they get it because that's one of my favorite shows of all time. But they do have a lot of the stuff I like. Like, I'm a huge Marvel fan. I love the MCU, all the movies and stuff like that. So nostalgia is a key piece. Another one is community. I already touched on that. They have that in spades. I don't think there's any other NFT project that can compete on a community level with VeVe because there's just awesome people in the community. They did $20,000 worth of giveaways. Just they came together and was like, yeah, let's do this for the community. Let's bring more people in. Let's change people's day, right? People care about each other. Like, it's like a family. They call it VeVe fam, right? And people are like really connected over this app. To the point where even if this app didn't succeed, I think there's like lifelong friendships and bonds formed just over the idea that brought us together here, which is VeVe. The next one is the investment aspects. So in crypto, there's a lot of speculative investments. People are hoping 200x, right? It's not like that here on VeVe. Well, at least like the quick 200x, but also to me, it's a more pure investment in the traditional idea where preservation of capital is the most important thing, because it's hard to see any of these going to zero, right? Because there's a million users. If you're picking what you like, you're getting what you like plus the potential growth from owning that. Some of these do 10x, some of these do 20x, some of these do 100x. Like when the Marvel 1 comic dropped, people were selling them below floor price for like $2 or $4. And then that did hit over 100, then over 200, right? And I could see them going to 1,000, pretty easily, because that's an important comic. So it does have an investment aspect to it, even though this is not financial advice. People are making money from buying and flipping these, holding the ones they really want, and having fun while doing it. So that is a piece to it. Another one is utility. So right now, the utility is you can place them in augmented reality. You can drop a comic book on your desk in augmented reality, you read it, you can tilt it up or down. You can place them in your showroom, organize a scene. So you could have Marvel fighting DC characters if you wanted, or have a customized scene with some of the, artwork from the Decon week, whatever you want to do. But there is future utility possible, right? Because now these brands can see, okay, this might be something. Maybe we could let whoever owns a Walt statue come to Disney World and get a fast pass or whatever it might be. Same thing with these independent artists. They had drops during Decon where if you got the NFT, you get on the wait list for the physical version of that. So you could actually buy that and make sure you don't miss out. Ron English had a drop where if you completed his first 3 sets, you get a secret rare of a new drop with only 600 some editions. And that thing went to like 2K right when it dropped. So there's unlimited potential for utility, especially when you think about the VeVeVerse and what could happen in there. We could make games that use these collectibles in them and all kinds of stuff. So instead of like a stock where you buy it and hopefully it's a good company, they run their company well, they pay dividends, and hopefully the value increases over time. This has the additional aspect of utility while you own it. Next one is status increase. So some of these pieces, maybe not so much right now, but in the future, if you own a Todd, which is the first ever VeVe collectible, that's going to have some status to it, right? Or if you own the first secret rare Spider-Man that dropped, that's going to have some status to it. So people buy things when they think it will increase their status. That's just a fact. That's why there's brands like Louis Vuitton and Gucci, right? People buy those because they think it will increase their status. So they have that aspect built in as well. People can kind of digitally own these, show people they own them, and that's going to be like a flex, right? So it's harder with a physical collectible to flex like that. But now that they're going digital and NFT, now you can flex and everybody could know, especially if you're in the VeVeVerse, right? You might be known as the guy who has 150 Todds or whatever it might be, or you have 100 Walt statues, or even just a special mint number. So that's a big potential play, potential reason why VeVe could succeed. And then you have the entertainment value, right? People just like playing with these collectibles, and it's fun. It's fun to wait for the drops. It's fun to browse around on the app. And when the VeVeVerse comes, that's going to be fun too. So those are my 8 reasons why I think you should check it out. I'm not going to go too deep into the OMI side of things. You have some research to do there. You have some research to do on VeVe as well. We covered the app. You can get that on the App Store and Google Play Store. So whichever type of phone you have, they have the app for it. They're coming out with multi-language support. I think a lot of the animes we love will be after they introduce like multi-language support, because it's kind of unfair to drop those iconic, brands and IPs without having those set up, because that's where they came from in a lot of cases. So first appearances are important, right? Mint numbers are important. Which season they came out in, it might be important in the future. I think it will be. So all the season 1 collectibles are probably going to give you greater returns than some of the later seasons. So keep that in mind. We've got augmented reality. We've got major brands. We've got drops, a drop system where you can actually get something for the store price that's going to increase in value almost instantly because of the demand for that item. I do want to mention some drop strategies and places you can practice. So you can go to Tapgate.io. That's built by Nexus. You can find him on Twitter as well. I'll drop his tag below. So if you want to practice for the drops in the current drop system, he built an awesome software where you can actually get better at trying to land some of those. I want to give a shout out to the Vaultoholics who do amazing work in the showrooms. I think these guys are going to be pretty desired in the VeVeVerse for actually building people's vault for them. I think they'll have a cool side income off of just building vaults. They do amazing work. I'll link to some videos below as well as some of their projects they've done. There are some valuation apps out there. I want to give a shout out to the wiki. I think it's, let me pull it up here. So economiwiki.com. You can actually enter the collectibles you own on here, and it will give you the current prices. It's got some price history in it as well. So check that out. And these are all community sourced projects, kind of on the side. I wanted to mention. Check out the MCP and the OUP programs. So Master Collector Program, OMI Utility Program. I'm going to link to those below as well. Make sure you jump in Twitter Spaces. That's where I learn 98% of what I know about VeVe. The other 2% is me actually reading some of their Medium articles. I read the white paper and just jumped into AMAs on like YouTube whenever David Yu or someone else from the team is actually being interviewed by someone. I've listened to a lot of those. I believe in this team. Like, they're super solid. The people they have involved and the brands they have involved aren't by accident. So highly recommend you jump into that. The VeVeVerse, if you have the opportunity to buy land, I want you to check out projects like Decentraland and Sandbox and see the potential there. And then think about what it means to buy land like those two, but also have iconic IP attached to it. And to me, it's a no-brainer. I think everybody should try to get a piece of land if they can in the VeVeVerse. Upcoming big moments for VeVe and OMI. We got the MTL, which is the money transfer license. It's being rolled out right now. So right now, you can buy gems, but you can't withdraw them back off the app, which I know that sounds crazy. But with them being in every country, there's a lot of approvals they had to go through. So they're rolling that out slowly with a test group now. And that should be coming within the next few months, I'd say, where you can withdraw. There will probably be a fee, I'm guessing, to facilitate that transaction. But that's coming. That should alleviate a lot of stress off people. Currently, there's some secondary markets, but do your own due diligence with that if you want to go that route. Personally, for me, don't put anything into anything. Don't put any amount of money into anything you wouldn't want to just see go to zero. So don't put your rent money onto VeVe or any other project. Just invest with what you can afford to lose. But to me, it's a solid project, and one I'm going to be talking about a lot because I'm super passionate about it. IMX is another big thing they have coming up. So once they migrate to Immutable, that's going to bring a lot of people in. A lot of people in the ETH space have money. They have bags of ETH just waiting. So I think that will help spread VeVe to the masses more as well. The first drop I got, like I said, was a Kang comic. Flipped it for 97 bucks. So 7 to 97, that's like a 13x, something like that. There's still those types of opportunities, and maybe even huger opportunities than that if you go for some of these season 1 collectibles and hold them for a long time. So if you're new to VeVe or Omi, drop a comment with any questions you have. It's hard to dive into everything in one video. I wanted to just get as much info out there as I could. And then I'll do future videos with more specific topics and strategies, possibly. Maybe do this like a weekly thing about one of the drops or whatever is going on that week if there's something coming up. If you have a comic book store near you, be careful downloading this app, because after I got the app, I actually wanted to go to the comic book store and started buying some comics as well. So I'll share some of those with you guys. I got this Web of Spider-Man, just a dope cover. It's got Ghost Rider, Venom, and John Blaze. I got this Uncanny Avengers with Kang on it. I got the X-Men Adventures first issue. Just some dope art on that one. I got this. This is a variant of a Kang and Infinite Destinies #1. It's got Iron Man on it. I got the Mortal Hulk #1, Time of Monsters. Giant Size Amazing Spider-Man #1. This is my favorite that I found. Ultimate Fallout #4. So this is not the original, it's the second issue. You can tell by this Marvel, the red box here. But I grabbed a couple of these just because it's cool. This is one of my favorite in the app as well. Then I got some of these black, white, and reds. I got the Carnage and the Wolverine. I just really like those covers. Super dope. Probably end up putting these ones up on the wall at some point. Then I got this Miles Morales Spider-Man first issue. Same here. And finally, I got this Infinite Destinies Miles Morales. So if your comic book store doesn't want to get into VeVe, I think they should, because you would think it would be like competing with the physical, right? But actually it's bringing more people in to want to be collectors. That's the crazy thing about VeVe. First you get into digital collectibles, then you want to actually own physical collectibles too. So this is something I got for my daughter for Christmas, Delina. It's a Unicorno. She actually has the VeVe equivalent of this already, which is cool. And you can gift these to people on the VeVe app just by transferring stuff to them. So yeah, that's basically it. That's all I'm going to fit into this video. Super long. I could have gone into the charts and all that stuff, but I didn't want to. Just wanted to basically expose you guys to VeVe. Make sure you go check it out. One of my favorite projects so far in the NFT space and in the crypto space. Super excited about this and the potential for the future. So with that being said, if you guys are new to the channel and you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and smash that bell so you don't miss any future videos. Stay legendary, and I'll catch you on the next one.